can I tell you something? You are actually stepping into your power because you have nothing to left to prove to anyone. Because the strongest people that I have ever met aren't the loudest, alright? They aren't constantly defending themselves, okay? You don't argue with every criticism. You don't need everyone to understand you because you have reached a place where you basically realize something incredibly free, because you have nothing to left to prove, and maybe that's exactly where you're being invited to, not because you do you hear the siren? Okay, it's okay. But you see, not because you have given up, right? But because you have finally grown beyond the need for approval. Like for years, you may have tried, to prove that, you were good enough, smart enough, you were successful enough, you are lovable enough and all, strong enough, But today, I want to remind you of something your soul already knows, You were never born to spend your life convincing people of your worth, because you were born to embody it, and that's what stepping into power truly means, okay? Alright, so let me just get closer a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so by the way, my name is Aries and I'm your online BFF for today, and thank you so much for clicking today's video. Bless your day, girls, boys. Alright, so you see, sometimes you you feel exhausting, because you constantly explain yourself, right? To justify every decisions, in the past, you try to defend your dreams, you try to convince people that, oh, you are actually capable at this and this, and you want to prove that you are worthy of love, you deserve to be loved, to prove to the people that, oh, you have changed and all, to prove that you're successful, to prove that you are basically healing. The need to prove is carrying a backpack, filled with stones, every opinion another stone, every criticism another stone, every rejections another stone, until one day you're no longer walking toward your purpose. You are basically dragging yourself toward other people's expectations. And the saddest part, most people, won't change their opinion about you, Some people have already decided who they think you are. No amount of explaining will ever change their perceptions towards you. So why waste your precious energy trying to prove them wrong, why? So you see, somewhere along the way, we were taught that power comes from achievements, from titles, from money, followers, recognitions, but that borrowed power, real power, is quiet, okay? Real power is waking up in the morning, knowing who you exactly, who you are, without contemplating whether you should live as a certain person, even if nobody claps for you, but you still be who you are, okay? And that's so powerful. It's saying that, what, I know my intentions, I know what my heart wants, and I know what I have survived, and I don't need a stranger to validate my existence, because here's the truth, people will always misunderstand you, okay? Some might underestimate you, and others will like basically is like project their fears to you. And you know, like if your identity like depends on like everyone agreeing with you will never know peace. Like your power begins the moment that your identity like comes from within, not from the third party existence, right? So you see, imagine like waking up tomorrow and no longer, you know, like needing compliments to feel like beautiful, no longer needing that promotion to feel successful, no longer needing someone to text you back just to feel like you deserve love. You no longer needing everyone to approve your choices that you made. How much lighter will you feel? You know? How much lighter will you feel? Validation is addictive at first. It feels like, you know, like harmless, you know, but slowly you become like dependent on like, you know, external approval. And what happens when it's gone? You know, you question yourself, like you basically shrink, like you abandon your authentic self just to become more acceptable, you know. And that's not confidence, that's like emotional dependence. Because true confidence isn't believing everyone will love you. It's like knowing you will still love yourself even when they don't, you know. Like silence is often like the greatest sign of growth. It's just my opinion, okay? Because one of the biggest signs that you have stepped into your power is what you stop responding to. Like you basically no longer argue with every opinion, you know. You no longer defend every rumor. You no longer chase people who choose to leave you. You stop trying to convince those committed to like misunderstanding you, because you have learned something profound. Your peace is more valuable than being right. Maturity sounds like this, like basically they are entitled to have their own opinions. Like I don't need to explain my boundaries and all, right? I don't need everyone to understand my feeling. I trust that the right people will understand me. Some battles don't deserve your energy, and you know, like some conversations don't deserve your voice. Sometimes walking away isn't weakness, it's a wisdom. You have the wisdom, because lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of the sheep. A sheep, SHEEP, meh, you know, like it's not a shit, it's sheep. Alright, so they will simply continue walking. Alright, so there's a version of you that is actually emerging, you know, like you can feel it. There is a version of you that no longer like seeks permissions, no longer begs to be chosen, no longer competes, no longer compare yourself with other people. This version actually knows that abundance isn't competitions. You know, like someone else's success doesn't even diminish yours. Someone else's opinion doesn't define yours, right? Someone else's rejection doesn't reduce your value. I'm sorry, yeah. So basically, this version walks differently, speaks differently, loves differently. Not because like life become easier, like, but because you finally realize that your worth was never negotiable. Alright, like the strongest people aren't obsessed with proving they're powerful. No, they simply live in alignment, you know, like, and that's enough. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so your power is already here, my love. Okay, imagine like standing in front of a mirror, not seeing your mistakes, okay? Not seeing your mistakes, not seeing your failures, like not seeing like every moment that you weren't enough. Instead, seeing someone who has survived storms, that could have destroyed you, someone who kept going even though no one even like support you, someone who learned, you are someone who heal, someone who is still becoming your best version of yourself. Like you don't need another certificate to like prove your intelligence. You don't need like another relationship just to prove that you are lovable. Like you don't need like another achievements to prove your value. You don't need another audience just to prove your influence. Like you don't need another explanations just to justify your peace. Like you have actually already survived enough to know who you actually are. So now let's pause and trust that. Walk into the rooms without shrinking. Set boundaries without apologizing. Celebrate yourself without guilt. Leave places that no longer honor your spirit. Build the life that you have been dreaming about without asking for permissions, because your power, was never like waiting for someone else just to recognize it, right? Because it was actually waiting for you to believe that you are capable of doing it. So stop proving to someone else. Stop performing. Stop explaining, and stop seeking validations, from people that who cannot even see your worth because they are looking through the lens of their own limitations. Instead, become so deeply rooted in who you are that no opinion can uproot you. No rejection can redefine you. No criticism can silence you, because this is what stepping into your power looks like. Not becoming someone new, but you are actually finally remembering who you have been all along. Okay, so yeah, you should tell to yourself, I have nothing left to prove. I choose peace over validations. Okay? Because the most powerful version of you isn't the one who convinces everyone else of your worth. It's actually the one who no longer feels the need to do that. Alright? So yeah, that's it from me, and thank you so much for listening until the end.